Welcome back to Same But Different, the movie talk show nobody asked for, but you're getting anyway. My name is Derek, and over here we have...
I'm Brody.
There he is. We are two brothers coming together talking about movies. We love it. It's just our life at this point.
It truly
and
is.
It always has been, but it's become more so recently. If you like movies, if you like entertainment, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We do movie reviews, trailer reviews, and movie news in general. And we do fun stuff like top fives and things like that along the way. So if you like it, come join us on this journey. Brody.
Derek.
It is the end of Apocalyptic April. This week we had to watch and review the 1975 film starring Don Johnson, a young Don Johnson, called A Boy and His Dog.
I'd never heard of this movie, had you?
I vaguely have this memory in my mind about like knowing of its existence as a book, but other than that, no. I had no idea what it was about besides the little synopsis you gave us last week. Off the hop, I was intrigued. It was a post-apocalyptic wasteland, as you do, and it was literally a boy and his dog. And the dog has telepathic powers, which immediately got me hooked because I think that's really cool. Everybody has always wanted that all their lives, to be able to talk to their dog and for their dog to talk to them. So to have that happen in this movie was a really cool initial hook. From there, it continuously lost my interest. He's an 18-year-old kid in the post-apocalyptic world, so his initial goal was, I need to get laid. Which, fine. If you're 18, hormones are going crazy, and you haven't ever touched a woman, let alone hardly seen a woman, because some of the footage they watch is like watching a pay-per-view channel when you haven't paid for it.
Yeah.
It's fair. Like, that's what an 18-year-old boy would be out there in a post-apocalyptic world probably thinking about. So cool. But like, that was the goal for basically the whole movie. I understand this was supposed to be some sort of dark comedy twist on the post-apocalyptic era, but that being the motivating factor behind the entire movie was kind of lost on me, and I didn't like that at all. It didn't allow for any character growth from our main character because that's all he was interested in the whole time. However, because that's what he was interested in the whole time, the ending was much better. Because of that reason.
Okay.
The whole time he's just like, I want to get laid, I want a woman, I want to touch a girl, and then the ending, he chooses to eat the girl with his dog instead of letting his dog die, which I thought was magnificent. That was like the most character growth we saw right in the last 2 minutes of the movie, and I thought that was a fantastic ending to an otherwise very boring movie. I kind of felt like it was two movies. We got the post-apocalyptic stuff in the wasteland, and then when he goes underground, we get this like weird Bioshock, we happy few kind of world underneath where I guess the rich and the privileged retreated underneath. It was kind of cool. It was kind of Stanley Kubrick-esque in that way. It was weird and off-putting, and I kind of got interested at that point, which was sad because that was the point where we don't have the boy and his dog the whole time. A large chunk of this movie, the boy and his dog aren't together. It was nothing special. It was definitely a weird watch. Another movie that could probably do with a remake, as we seem to be coming across a lot of these recently, could be better with a remake with a different kind of motivation. Maybe still sprinkle in the hormonal, like I want a girl, but like not make that the main focus of the movie. Didn't have fun with it overall. 4.5. Most of the points coming from the relationship between the boy and his dog. And then also that weird little sidestep into the underground world. I thought that was really cool, although it was still a little boring.
Honestly, 4.5 is a little higher than I thought you were going to go if I were to guess, you know?
Well, I'm going back and looking over all the 3s and the 2s I've given, and I don't think it was that bad compared to the other movies.
Interesting. Maybe I should start doing that, because I feel like I've probably rated movies lower than previous ones without knowing that, you know? I first want to say that you said, like, post-apocalyptic wasteland, as you do, which is absolutely true, but is this the first one? Like, Because even Mad Max was inspired by this, I read.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Because this was 1975, so this might be the first time this sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland has been done. This might be the most no different, only same review we've ever had, because you hit every... like, that was my review, pretty much. This movie was a beautiful, wonderful, ambitious attempt at a good movie. Mm-hmm. That failed in almost every department, and that's a shame because, like you, I was very invested in the synopsis, in the premise of this movie, and I still am. I still look back at it and I'm like, dang, darn, shoot, that should have been better, because it should have been better. They built this beautiful post-apocalyptic world. It was original, it was compelling, it was interesting. They pretty much deprived us of learning anything about it, other than, that deep dive into the weird underground world. But, like, they made our main protagonist very unlikable and chauvinistic. I understand that the world they built here is toxic, and the men are ravagers, and that could be satirical, and I get that, but they should have made the main character, the person we're rooting for, a reminder of humanity lost instead of another cog in this broken machine. And then they kept using a line like, you think I'm bad, wait till they get their hands on you. That doesn't make it worse, or that doesn't make it better. Just because they're worse doesn't mean you don't suck. Biggest issue is they give you this wicked story about a boy who can communicate with his dog. They never really dive into their connection or utilize that tactic. It's kind of it's shallow. They're best friends who kind of chirp on each other and make fun of each other, and there's this banter, and that's cool, but they don't utilize it.
In classic Derek-ness as well, why? Why can they talk to each other?
Well, that's actually my next point, is I imagine, and I didn't do any research, so this might just be blowing smoke out my ass, but I imagine that the novella that this movie was based on is a very descriptive book, because not much happens in this movie in the way of plot, and I think we were robbed of backstory and exposition that you'd get in a written form, because you can't convey that in present tense filmmaking, you know?
Well, you can if it was more than an hour and a half. It didn't have to be that short.
You keep perfectly setting up my next point. I love it.
Okay, cool.
For being a 90-minute movie, this felt way too long. All the scenes dragged on to the point of monotony. How long can we look at each other and they're not even being expressive? They're just sitting there staring at stuff, and it just stays on them, and I'm like, this is what in the world is happening? That all said, like I started with, the premise is still there, and I still have a fondness for this movie based on just the attempt. Someone tried something, and in my opinion it failed, but I respect them for trying it. But they need to wise up. This would work well as a remake, I think.
Yes.
I think this would be awesome as a remake if the main character was adjusted.
Yeah, because to this day, I still think it's a unique premise. I
Agreed.
don't think I mean, again, I Am Legend, we have a guy and his dog, and there are plenty of movies with a guy and his dog, but, like, no telepathic communication.
Yep.
No secret underground weird warped world that's the higher class. Like, I think it's a very unique movie that just hasn't been tapped into again. It's weird.
And there were multiple books. They were gonna film a sequel apparently, but the dog died like a few weeks after this movie came out.
Get a new dog then. What?
I was worried watching this movie about how that dog was treated on set in the 70s.
Yeah, in the 70s, exactly.
There's just a lot of
prop, right? So.
Yeah, and there was a lot, like, just Don Johnson just sitting there screaming at this dog. The dog doesn't know it's in a movie. Like, and how'd they get the dog to limp? I know some dogs, you can train them to do that, but, like, what if they actually hurt it?
No, I'm sure they trained that dog. That dog is A-class actor. Went to acting school.
The title of this movie led me to believe that would be the driving point. A boy and his dog. But that's just two characters in this movie. It's not really about them at all. Sex is great and women are lesser. That's the moral of this movie, and it's not a good one to walk away with.
Yeah, even in the underground world, it's like all the women are set up and assigned a man to procreate. There's satire there to be played with, 100%. Like, if somebody, like, first thing that comes to mind is Greta Gerwig. If she got a hold of this, she could probably turn this into an amazing, like, feminist satirical kind of movie, which would be incredible.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they needed to portray what was going on down there as wrong, but instead they just portrayed it as happening. The last 30 seconds of this movie might go down as one of the best endings to any movie ever, which is crazy. Crazy. What an incredible last line that they almost didn't use it. They said it was too controversial and they're too scared to use, like, they almost didn't use that last line. After they ate her, the boy and the dog were walking away and they were just talking and they're like, oh, well, she liked me, and the dog was like, yeah, well, she had great taste or something like that. And then they just laughed and it freeze framed. I did not enjoy this. I didn't even give it, I gave it a 3 out of 10 solely for the ending. Otherwise, it'd be a 2, probably. I wish it was better. I think there's so much more here, and somebody should get their hands on this and make it a better movie or TV show. Yeah. Give me this build a universe here.
Whoa, folks! You're not gonna hear that too often. Brody wanting to build a universe.
Build a world, not a universe.
Whoa.
Build a world. Give me a trilogy. A boy and his dog and his puppies.
Brody just wants snow dogs in the desert. That's all.
The 8 Below!
Whatever! If you watched the movie, let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Let's leave Apocalyptic April in the past.
Like the world.
Let's move on. Like the world. And we're going to move on like the world would do and go into our next month. Do you want to announce the theme for the next month?
I can do that. Absolutely. Next month, what we're going to do, we like to try to do a little bit of wordplay or alliteration or something. So, May is going to be May I Have This Dance? And it's going to be dance movies.
Oh, yeah. You can't see me, but I'm busting all the moves.
You dancing?
I'm dancing.
You make me feel like dancing.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to continue. That was a little awkward.
Wanna dance the night away.
It's too late. Not exactly a genre, but it's a topic of movies that neither Derek nor I really have visited much, other than Step Up 2, which we both praise as the best movie ever made.
Best dance movie.
All the movies that are in this hat are posted on a promo. So we're going to grab one of them right now. I know it looked empty, but I swear that it's not. Shake it up. I got one.
Okay.
It's a long one.
Is it Save the Last Dance 3 Now or Nothing All In?
It is. Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
I've never heard of it.
I hadn't either. I don't know if it's based off the name of the song or the song is based on the name of the movie. All I know is it stars your favorite, Sarah Jessica Parker.
No. Why would you even put that in the Hat of Destiny? You've tainted the Hat of Destiny.
I went through lists and I picked some that were good and I picked some that were bad. And, this one was right in the middle. People love it. People hate it.
I gotta watch Sarah Jessica Parker dance.
Is that such a bad thing?
Yeah, it's like watching a horse limp over to its stable before it gets shot.
Oh my god. Well, it came out in 1985. It's got a G rating. Helen Hunt. That looks like it. Helen Hunt and Sarah Jessica Parker.
So, wow, dynamic duo.
Janie is new in town and soon meets Lynn, who shares her passion for dancing in general and dance TV in particular. So it sounds like maybe kind of like a Hairspray sort of thing. On IMDb, the clip I just saw was someone doing a front flip through a window and it shattered, so that was cool. All I need is some broken glass, and Sarah Jessica Parker, and I'm in.
I need some broken glass for my eyes after I watch this movie, probably.
Oh my God. So make sure you watch Girls Just Want to, not wanna, which I always thought it was, but maybe that's the song. Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Cool. Watch that. Let's move on to our top 5. I guess we're not leaving Apocalyptic April in the past yet because we still got to do our top 5 for the month. Top 5 apocalyptic movies. Brody, take it away. What are your top 5 of all-time apocalyptic movies?
All right, top 5 apocalyptic movies of all time. Number 5, you saw it this month, Deep Impact. I consider it one of my favorite disaster movies, which I think should make, if it's an apocalyptic disaster, I deserve to make the list. It was new to me, and I should have loved it 20 years ago, and I didn't, so I'm giving it my number 5 spot. Number 4, lesser known. Don't know too many people who saw this movie, but it struck a chord with me. Stakeland.
Oh, the vampire one.
Yeah, it's not often there's a post-apocalyptic movie with vampires, but Stakeland was raw, and it was cool, and it was original, and really, really like that one. Check it out if you've never heard of it. Number 3, one of these sorts of movies had to make this list, and I'm giving it to Day After Tomorrow, because for me, it's the perfect middle ground between Deep Impact and 2012. Number 2, Snowpiercer. Purely for originality, I think Snowpiercer came out of nowhere and surprised everybody who watched it.
Good shout. I wish I put that on my list now.
Number 1, and again, this is purely for originality, and wow, that surprised me. That was really, really good, and I didn't expect it. 10 Cloverfield Lane. And Cloverfield, to me, I had more fun with. I certainly like Cloverfield more, but 10 Cloverfield Lane is a better movie and an apocalypse movie, you know?
Agreed. One of those contained in one area, good acting, story, character-driven movies. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to say I Am Legend as my honorable mention only because I bumped it off when I remembered Stakeland.
I stayed away from zombie movies because zombies are always end of the world. So I stayed away from that because that's their own genre. It is what it is, man.
Is there a werewolf apocalypse movie?
Yo, there should be, though. I don't know why. Werewolves get a bad rap in movies, man. They always suck.
They kind of do, don't they?
Top 5 apocalypse movies. Here we go. Number 5, This Is the End.
That's fair. That's good.
Yeah. That's my one comedy. I had to throw it on there. It is a fantastic end of the world movie because that's just what it's about.
Yep.
And friends having to deal with that. Number 4, I put Deep Impact.
Oh.
Because that movie made a deep impact on me. So number 3, Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
A great apocalyptic movie with Groundhog Day time travel-esque stuff. It was way more than what I thought it would be. That's why it's making the list. Number 2, Day After Tomorrow.
Whoa!
So we share 2 on our list, Day After Tomorrow and Deep Impact. The feeling I got when I watched Day After Tomorrow for the first time, it's stuck with me ever since, and it's just such a good character-driven movie too. Number 1, apocalyptic movie for Derek. Can you guess?
It depends, because like you said, Interstellar is technically an apocalypse movie. No. And not zombies. Oh, yeah. Is it an alien movie?
It's not an alien movie.
Oh, what? Then no, I don't know.
Okay. It's Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mad Max Fury Road is the best apocalyptic movie I've ever seen. Hands down. Best time I've had in a theater watching an apocalyptic movie. Cinematography. It won for best cinematography, right? It's a fantastic film. I love it. My honorable mention bleeds a little bit into another genre, but it's Reign of Fire.
Reign of Fire. Is that considered an apocalypse movie?
100%. Dragons destroyed the world, bro.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah, humans basically live underground or in tattered, destroyed buildings, and they're just trying to survive with dragons ruling the world now. Top 5 done. Let's move on to news really quick and wrap this up. Movie news was crazy over the past weekend. I said that weird. Weekend.
You said it like a British person.
Like a British person, yeah.
Oh, it's the week's end.
It was Cinemacon, and Cinemacon is a con that allows different movie production companies and studios to come together, and it's more or less to prove to the world that movies are still relevant in a theatrical sense. They don't do anything streaming. If anything, they voice against streaming while there. Sony doesn't even have a streaming service, and they're just saying, like, we will never have a streaming service or put anything to streaming. We are doing theatrical only.
Liars.
So Sony, Warner Bros., Disney, Universal, and Lionsgate all had their own panels with their own releases.
It's a lot.
And movie newses. Yeah, movie newses.
Movie Newsies starring Christian Bale, like Newsies.
Newsies. Oh, man. So let's kick it off. Day one, Sony came out and announced a bunch of things. I'm just going to rhyme them off, and we can react really quickly because there's lots. So Sony, Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney are coming out in a rom-com called Anyone But You, and it's a rated R rom-com. And I'm super excited because rated R rom-coms are generally a good time.
Who's Glenn Powell?
He's the guy in Top Gun, Maverick. Did you watch that yet?
Oh!
Ugh. He was in Scream Queens. He was like the douchebag frat boy in Scream Queens, the TV show. Did you watch that?
The first few episodes.
You'd know him if you saw his face.
I just see this stuff as I'm scrolling, and I never click into it. Like, I don't know who anybody is.
Welcome to the movie show, Brody. They showed a trailer for Dumb Money, the Paul Dano and Seth Rogen biopic about the GameStop stock that happened over COVID that everyone went wild for. It's going to be a comedy, drama, comedy, dark comedy. Sony showed footage of Craven, the Spider-Man villain spin-off movie starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. They confirmed that it's going to be rated R by showing a trailer that showed him biting a man's nose off and spitting it into the camera. Huh. The Rhino will be one of the main villains in it. Not mechanical rhino, a bio-organic rhino. Not the animal, but a man who can turn into like a Hulk-like rhino.
I hope like he at least maybe dons a rhino suit by the end or something. Otherwise, like, I get what they're trying to do, the realism of making a man big instead of an actual rhino, sure. But like, then why is he called Rhino? Oh,
no. Full on, like, apparently he injects himself with something and he turns into a giant humanoid rhinoceros with a human face. Like the Hulk, but with a horn and gray.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
CEO straight up came out and said, streaming doesn't make movie stars, only global theatrical hits do. And I have two things to say about this. One, he's not wrong. Streaming doesn't make movie stars. Global theatrical hits certainly do. However, that shouldn't be your driving motivation to make movies. To make movie stars. That's not why you do this.
That's true, but I also think that that's the wrong thing to say. It may be 10 years ago, but that's just wrong.
I don't think so. I think the only way you can break through and become a huge movie star is to have theatrical releases and get box office money. If you're streaming and you're not raking in the millions, you're not going to break in to be this huge star. If it's happened, it's very rare. No. Millie Bobby Brown went on to do other things, theatrical releases, to make her a bigger star.
Sure.
And then Finn Wolfhard as well, but all the other kids have kind of like...
Okay. So that's two examples, and that's only, the show's not done yet. They're all known names. I'm just saying. I think that's silly. I could probably, that's just top of my head. I bet you I could think of other examples too.
Moving on, Warner Bros. Panel. You're going to love this. Although we kind of knew this, but it's officially 100% been confirmed, and they're working on it. Final Destination 6.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I thought you were going to talk about more DC stuff or something. That's so much more exciting. No. I didn't know there was, yeah. I knew this was announced. I didn't know it was, there's just a little bit of reassurance for us fans.
There's a new Conjuring movie coming out. They released a title card for it. It's called Conjuring Last Rites. So hopefully, maybe this is the last one in like the Conjuring main storyline, because they're doing a TV show. They're also doing The Nun 2. They're also doing all these other spin-offs. It's a whole Conjuring universe.
Yeah, the final film that says the last one never is.
The Color Purple is getting a remake.
I saw this. Did you see the poster?
Yeah. No, I didn't. What is it?
The poster's blue and it says The Color Purple. The tweets are like, you had one job, and it's so funny.
What in the Oprah is that? Okay. Weird. Next, they showed footage of Aquaman. The new Aquaman movie somehow will fit into James Gunn's new vision of the DC universe. But that's not the news. The news is, in that footage, in the trailer, Amber Heard is in it. So she has not been cut from the movie, and she is officially still in the movie.
Apparently, she's been cut down to a cameo-sized role. Some people love when people poo in beds.
I certainly don't. People got to watch the entirety of the Flash movie.
Oh.
They showed the entire thing. It's not fully polished yet, and it may not be even fully edited yet. However, they decided to show the entire movie to the crowd of people at the Warner Bros. Panel, and people are saying, believe the hype. This is some of the best superhero movie making they've ever seen. All the actors are incredible. All the characters are incredible. The story is amazing. And people can't stop talking about it. So,
all right. Well, hey, I mean, you know me and my thoughts. The movie looks fun. I'm going to give it... I'm still going to watch it and probably enjoy myself, but I can't imagine much from my perspective.
What gives me hope is that the crowd isn't just made up of, like, kiss-ass critics who want their names in with the studio. People that go to these things are in the film industry. Like, they're people... You could be like a gaffer or a boom op and come in,
best boy,
and get a ticket and watch. Yeah, exactly. So it's not just people that would profit off of seeing this. Next panel was Disney. Not too much with Disney. However, they announced and released the trailer for the new Wish movie, and this Wish movie is a classically animated Disney movie with a little bit of a Into the Spider-Verse animation to it. Sometimes I was watching the trailer and at one point I was like, no, this is 2D, 100%.
I wasn't sold on the trailer myself. I don't know if we're going to do a trailer react, so if we are, just cut this, I suppose. But the plot, it just looks very rinse and repeat. It looks like the same Disney, this girl has a tiny sidekick we've seen over and over and over. I thought the animation, I thought for the first, minute of the trailer, it was going to be a video game, and I was sold. I was like, that's so cool. They've never done anything like this. It looks like a video game. And then when I found out it was a movie, I was like, I don't like that animation.
20th Century Studios, which is obviously part of Disney, they showed the entirety of the new Boogeyman movie, which is Stephen King's adaptation movie, and a lot of people are saying that it's very creepy. It's not the scariest thing, but it's a very scary and effective movie. And then this wasn't part of Disney's panel per se, but it happened around the same time. Guardians of the Galaxy had their red carpet premiere, and people are saying, much like the Flash movie, hands down the best MCU movie. And also, the last 20 minutes of this movie left them an emotional wreck, and they are trying to recover.
That doesn't surprise me. I think they need to chill out on the marketing, all the clips they're releasing and stuff, and how heavily they're showing you Rocket's backstory and stuff. Like, maybe they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, but it seems pretty obvious to me what they're gearing up for here, and I think they need to chill out a little bit. Just a little bit.
Moving on, Universal had their panel, and there was a bunch from Universal. They released some new Wicked footage. Expect a new trailer sometime this summer, apparently.
You got me excited. Sorry, I'm so excited for Wicked.
No, absolutely. Same. I loved the play when we saw it, and I can't wait for Jeff Goldblum as a wizard.
Jeff Goldblum is a wizard. I'm still tentative on both of the leads, but we also got Michelle Yeoh hot off of Everything Everywhere. Well, not hot off, but she's Madame Morrible or whatever her name is, so that's cool too.
The Exorcist reboot / sequel finally got a title. It's called Exorcist, subtitle Believer. And apparently it is a sequel to the original Exorcist, disregarding all the other sequels. And Ellen Bernstein, the mom from the first one, is coming back to reprise her role.
Wow, so they're doing a straight up Halloween. And it worked for Halloween, whether you like those movies or not, it worked.
Kung Fu Panda 4 was announced. A little bit of footage was shown. The new villain is a chameleon who can summon past villains from previous movies. And it's about finding Poe's replacement.
I think Puss in Boots set a bar for animated sequels, and they're all going to try harder now.
Sequel news that doesn't really make sense to me. The Black Phone got announced for a sequel.
Oh no.
Which sucks, because that is a beautiful one and done type
I mean,
movie.
I don't remember what you gave it. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Yeah, that's a perfect movie.
Yeah, and now they're doing a sequel for some reason, somehow. Vin Diesel came out at the end to announce Fast X will be part 1 and part 2. And part 2 will be the definitive end to the main line Fast and the Furious movies.
Because they didn't want to end on 11. It's not part 1 and part 2. It's 10 and 11, but they didn't want to end on 11, so they're calling it this. That's the stupidest thing. I love those movies. I'm not even bashing the movies. I'd watch 45 of them. I don't care. But that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Finally, Lionsgate had a brief panel. They released the Hunger Games prequel, the Mockingjay and the Serpent trailer. I watched the trailer. It's pretty cool. Even though I don't care about Hunger Games whatsoever, the trailer was pretty cool.
What did you call the Hunger Games movie?
The Mockingbird and the Serpent or something like that? The Mockingjay and the Serpent? What did I say?
It's called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Hunger Games are absolutely whatever to me. I didn't stand the test of time, and 10 years later, already, who cares? So
that's all for Cinemacon movie news. Expect trailers for a shit ton of movies over the course of the summer, including movies that I didn't even mention here: Willy Wonka, Dune 2. One thing I do need to mention about Wonka, though, is confirmed that Hugh Grant is playing an Oompa Loompa.
What in the world?
That's it for movie news. That's it for Apocalyptic April. And next month is May I Have This dance movies, and we're going to watch Girls Just Want to Have Fun, starring my favorite, Sarah Jessica Parker. Lead us out of here, Brody. Take us home.
All right, it's been a blast, everybody. If you've liked what you have seen, if you like movies, just subscribe, follow, comment, like, share, all of that good stuff. We're here all of the time just trying to hang out, talk about this stuff. It's what we like to do, and it's what we're going to continue to do. So, may as well be a part of it. Thank you all so much for hanging out and for watching this. Make sure you watch the movie for next week's episode, and we will see you very, very soon.
Same but different. Signing off. Bye.
Bye.
I need some broken glass for my eyes after I watch this movie, probably.
God.